Well, that was the thing I was mentioning. This is back when we were in the office and stuff. I would come in and just fill Jeff in on the latest Andrew antics, and then at one point I think while we were doing like Vicious Summer or something, I was like, I think Andrew's the funniest person in Achievement Hunter, and he doesn't even work here. We need a show where we just hear about his weird antics.
No, for sure, Gavin. It's kind of a nut we've been trying to crack for a long time, is how do you harness the power of an Andrew Panton and focus it into some sort of content? And we struggled forever. I don't know why it never crossed our minds to have a podcast. I actually thought about calling this the Andrew Podcast, just calling it Andrew. No other explanation. But that didn't seem dumb enough.
I will say, I'm really glad you didn't go with Andrew, because I mentioned at the time, if you did, I would feel obligated to change my name. Because it would be really funny if we had a podcast called Andrew and nobody on it was called Andrew. Like, the further it went, the funnier it would become. And when I ran that idea by my mom, she cried. So that would have been a problem. She was very committed to the name.
I like the idea of you going down to the courthouse. It's like, well, why are you changing your name? It's because, well, the new name isn't a podcast.
It's a great bit. You'd have to do it. So I was sitting at my desk since the last time we spoke, and there's some stuff happening out my window. There are a bunch of cops, there are a bunch of people. Something had happened outside. And so I kind of walked away for a minute. I was watching from my window, and I saw all these people, a lot of cops, a lot of people, and I noticed this woman with 2 bags. And she, like, kind of walked past the cop, and I thought, that's interesting. This seems, something might be happening here. What's in those bags? It was like a mini investigation. I was like, where's she going? What's she going to do? So I was watching her, and she walked past the cop. Then she started walking down a little bit, and she went up this little hill. And I could see it's the back of a business, and they have, like, a grass parking lot. I'm like, that's also weird. Is she planning the bags? Like, what's in the bags? What's going to happen? And she keeps walking a little bit more. And then all of a sudden, she takes her pants down and goes into a deep squat, and I'm now watching this homeless woman pee. That was my day. Oh my
God.
I was shocking. It went from like, is this a mystery? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Oh God, that woman's peeing. That woman's peeing. I didn't want to see this.
What was your reaction?
That was my reaction. Oh God, I didn't want to see this. It was a side profile. I couldn't see anything, but I could see the act. It was not good. I did not anticipate.
This is perfect for something for me. I love this. This is great.
You love a homeless peeing story?
No. It goes right into the peeing perv. Okay. Yeah, no, that's great.
This was not premeditated. This was not a good event in my life. But there's a payoff to this, which is amazing. So I watched the pee, and that was terrible. And so then an hour later, like, an ambulance shows up. And I'm like, well, what's going on now? And so I'm looking at the ambulance, and then I noticed the back of the business door open that the person peed in the line of. And I'm just watching this person with a garbage bag over their head, and they're walking down the steps, and I'm just watching, saying, she's going to walk and pee. That woman's going to walk through pee. And she absolutely walked through pee. I felt so bad. It was like watching a horror movie and not being able to yell at the characters. There's nothing I could do to communicate, don't step through that. She totally
You could have yelled.
Well, well, that'd be weird. What, am I going to just yell from my balcony? The pee!
Well, yeah,
no way.
What would you have yelled if you'd have had slightly more warning?
I think I just would have yelled pee. I would have yelled, hey, pee, pee.
That wouldn't have helped anyone.
How could I have?
You're not describing anything. You just sound like a madman.
Yeah, but sometimes when you describe, people don't know. There's a lot of people. They're going to look at me. You think, like, I don't know. I don't think I could have helped. I had like a 5-second window.
I feel like you could have yelled, that is a massive puddle of piss.
Well, I also didn't know if they'd walk through it. There's a possibility they wouldn't. And
you didn't want to think like you overreacted.
Yeah, and then also, to Jeff's point, I seem super fucking weird. Am I the pee guy? Like, now I'm the pee guy. Like, this was a coincidence that I'm not the pee guy. It happened once. It was a coincidence. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I witnessed it. It was terrible. I felt bad. She probably still doesn't know she walked through pee.
Well, maybe she listens to Face and she's about to find out. And she's going to say, like, oh, those were brand new shoes. I saved up months and months and months for them. They were, like, limited edition, like, Nike SBs. Like, I don't know, and they're one of only 300 made, and I just trudged through homeless piss. And if only Andrew had stopped me, he could have saved me the indignity of
I don't think it's
wallowing in
possible to stop
urine.
someone. What would you have said?
Stop!
Well, what, she's gonna know? There's nobody stops. If you're yelling at a crowd of people to stop, I don't think most people stop. I think maybe a few do. I think you'd get lucky at that point.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know what I would do in the moment, but I don't think the moment would happen because I wouldn't be a peeping Andrew from the beginning.
You don't, if there's an ambulance outside your window, you do not peek at the ambulance?
You weren't looking at the ambulance, you were looking at a homeless lady peeing in the back alley.
I didn't know first of all, it's the back of a business, not a back alley. This was a very public area. Second of all, that's not what I wanted. I thought I was getting a mystery, Jeff. I thought this was going to be a good mystery.
You got a mystery and you solved it. The mystery of is Andrew a peeping Tom? Yes.
No.
If you'd have known that, okay, so if you knew that I was about to watch you walk through piss and I didn't say anything and you just walked through all the piss, would you be annoyed at me?
Well, if I said what's the context? Is it just you and I? Is it the same scenario? What is the context?
Yeah, so I'm you in your situation. You're
okay.
No, I'm you. You're her. No,
okay.
You're the person who was walking through the piss.
Okay.
And I call you 2 hours later. I'm like, Andrew, you walked through a piss today. And you're like,
I'd
how
be
do you
mad
know?
that
And I'm
you
like,
told
I
me.
watched you do it. And you're like, why didn't you warn me? I'd be like, oh, I didn't know what to say.
Yeah, well, I'd never tell the person. If I knew them personally, I would never tell them.
Right,
Yeah.
but if I did know you, would you be annoyed that I didn't scream out, watch out for the piss puddle?
I would have said, why didn't you warn me? And then you would have been like me and said, I could, like, what am I supposed to say? And then I would have said, good point. There's nothing. That's just chaos is in motion. You can't stop it. There's too much momentum.
Here's how it would really go. Gavin, hey, Gavin, earlier today, do you remember we were hanging out?
Yeah.
And I waved at you and you came over. You walked through a puddle of a homeless lady's piss.
Oh, I mean, did you wave me over so I would walk through the piss?
100%. I steered you toward the urine.
I don't like you anymore.
I know.
Okay. Goodbye.
Fair enough.
This did, you know what? I didn't expect to get slandered by Jeff, which I should have. That's foolish on my part.
Slandered. Speaking of you, Andrew.
Yeah.
I want to talk about an idea. I mentioned earlier I have an idea for a product, and it centers around you.
Oh, this is horrifying. Considering the last thing you thought I would qualify for, I'm a little nervous.
I'm excited about it. And when I say product, I feel like that's a little disingenuous. I was just trying to be obtuse so that you couldn't follow the thread. I think that you have the makings of... I think that maybe we've all been looking at you the wrong way. And we've been, like Gavin and I, we've been taking you the wrong way. I've always taken you as this like happy-go-lucky, really talented, good-natured, good-hearted, too funny for his own good, too mischievous for his own good kid who kind of practices a chaotic good malevolence upon his own life, but also the people around him, but in an endearing way.
I'm waiting for the turn.
However, I think you have the makings of like let's say like a Krampus or
what?
What's another evil entity?
I did not expect
boogeyman type creature, right?
Krampus?
Like Candyman. Think of like a horror movie villain, like like maybe
Hitler.
Well,
no,
I think let's.
I really should have blocked that one. That's a regrettable miss.
I wasn't going that way. But yeah, I think more like the thing that people are scared of in the night. And here's why. Here's why.
Okay.
I'm going to take a couple of examples.
Okay.
You told a story about how awkward you are and how socially inept you are. And so you found a guy to cut your hair. And so when he retired and moved to the old folks' home, you just dotingly and awkwardly followed along with him.
That's not exactly how it went, but okay.
It's pretty close.
Sure. Not really.
And
but...
you talk about how you pretend to be interested in football while he pretends to be interested in hockey or golf or whatever it was. Tennis, maybe. And
flip those as well, but that's fine. Continue.
Yeah. And then you talked about another story. I'm just pulling these from the ether. Another story is there was the time when you found all the like hamster traps
in
in your yard. Mm-hmm. And you thought that somebody was performing some sort of a malicious prank or weird thing on you. And then there was the time that you mistakenly sent a package to yourself, but you sent it to an old address. So instead of just going up and knocking on the door, you developed an elaborate plan which required you putting Chinese food flyers all over a neighborhood. And then there was a recent one that you just brought up where you were alerted to looking out the window by an ambulance and flashing sirens, and then you unintentionally, following a mystery, ended up watching a homeless lady go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Those all sound perfectly rational when told through that lens. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, what if we've been looking at you the wrong way? What if you have been unintentionally terrorizing your poor town and island, and you've become like a mythical boogeyman type creature? For instance, you're the kid that the barber was so scared of because he's so intimidated by you and your forceful sports talk. He tried to go the one place a 20-year-old man would not follow him, an old folks home. It's anathema to youth to go to an old folks home. It was the only place he could think of to stay in business and hide, and you still found him. Or maybe the person who lived in that house before you or lived next door was a little boy who had a pet hamster that his dad gave him. And then his dad died in a plane crash. And all he has to remember his dad by is this hamster. And the hamster got out one night, and he's been going and setting traps trying to find his poor hamster that reminds him of his dead dad. And every time you find it, you throw it on the pile or you smash it or you do in some way stop this poor kid from reconnecting with his dead father. Or what if you this poor Chinese food restaurant is getting fined by the local authorities because they keep flyering neighborhoods and they don't. And they keep saying, no, it's this Andrew. It's Andrew. It's the name that people whisper in the dark. It's Andrew. And they're like, Andrew doesn't exist. He's not real. What if there's a poor homeless woman who's like, every time I go to the bathroom, there's this pair of eyes staring at me through a window? It's Andrew. What if you are Andrew the boogeyman?
I prefer Andrew from the Block. I think that was a better. I'd rather have that title.
Sure.
I will say I don't necessarily agree with a lot of what you're saying.
That was a torrent.
It was a lot, but to give a little bit of evidence to part of your theory, the guy that cuts my hair, very shaky hands. I don't know if he's like that with everybody. Could be
he's
a
terrifying.
It's that's what I'm saying. I'm adding a little bit of weight to your theory.
So wait, you exclusively see a hairdresser who is incredibly difficult to get to, and his hands shake while he's cutting your hair?
Yeah, because he knows how to cut my hair. It's convenient.
He knows how to cut your hair out of fear because he's scared you're going to kill him.
I don't think that's true, but the handshaking is a little weird.
Coronavirus might have been the best thing to ever happen to that poor man.
That's one way to look at it. I mean, that's a take, I guess. I don't really know what to say. I didn't expect to be called Krampus.
Yeah, the Krampus was a that took a turn into Krampus.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting that.
No.
Just something to think about. You might be. So anyway, my idea for a product is we should franchise you as the new evil, scary thing in the night, the thing that goes bump in the night.
How do I advertise that? Do I just is that on my I'm the thing in the night on my Twitter bio? Hire me? Like what do I?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe we could write a book about it, or we make a movie, and you could be like maybe it's a movie franchise like Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. It's Nightmare on Elm Street, very cerebral. You're a smart guy. Maybe you're like the new Freddy Krueger.
I wonder what the day rate should be on the thing in the night.
That's a great question too. And also, I like you say these like I'm purposefully causing them. These are just things that have happened. I don't feel I'm at fault for most of these things.
What do you mean you're not at fault?
I don't think I'm at fault in any way. I don't think I caused any of these to happen.
Well, okay, but like for the stuff where you smacked every button in the lift, so Steven Spielberg had to go to every floor of that building.
That was a thing.
Tell that fucking story after this bit.
If we must.
That is the best story. Also, lends a lot of credence to where I'm going with this. For all I know, Steven Spielberg whispers your name to his kids at night to scare them.
I don't think that's true.
Why were you in a lift with Stevie Spiels?
It was just a coincidence. I was just in the same elevator with him. I was there for I was in Vancouver for something.
Yeah, do you want to give us the whole spiel?
I'll give it abbreviated. I'll give like the highlights. I was in an elevator with him, and there was an issue, and I felt like he was being a jerk. And so when I got to my floor, I hit all of the buttons because he had to go to a higher floor, and I ran out. Mm-hmm. That was about it. I will say a second thing that made me very proud is like 4 years later, that exact scenario played out on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry does that to somebody. Yeah, the exact same thing happened. I was like, holy shit, I did that. I lived that ridiculous moment.
What did Steven Spielberg yell at you as you ran out the door of the elevator?
Did he yell something?
I
don't remember that part.
You told me he yelled, "Hey, you, come here."
I don't remember that. I guess he did.
Because you got off on the third floor and he was going to like the 36th floor or something.
I was on a much lower floor than the button he hit.
Did he have like an entourage, or was it just him?
No, it was just him.
Oh, yeah. Surprising.
Yeah. I mean, you're in a hotel. Do people have entourages? No. An elevator is kind of a tough place to have an entourage. You kind of own the elevator at that point. You're not just going into elevators.
He probably ended up being late for some meeting that lost him a gig. And as he was going to bed last night, the last thing he thought of was, Andrew.
That is what I'd love to know. Like you talking about, and I think you took it to a maybe ridiculous level, but I'm sure there is a world impact that I'm not aware of some of these stories that have happened to me. And I'd love to know what the ripple effect of those button presses was.
Here's what I'm trying to do for you, Andrew. I'm trying to make you more than a man. I'm trying to make you mythical. I want the name Andrew Panton or whatever we end up calling you, like Andrew the Piss Perv or whatever it is. I want it to live beyond your lifespan.
The Piss Perv. I feel like myths and legends are never man-made. They always come after. You can't try and become a myth. You are just mythical.
I think if I put my foreskin in my ass, I would become. That'd be a man-made. I think I'd get credit for that. That's never happening.
Interesting that you brought that up.
Yeah, I don't know where I got that from. Yeah, randomly pulled that one.
Can we cut that entire conversation from the last episode just so that it was more insane than it was?
No, fuck you. No.
Andrew, where would you get that from? That's so
Why
weird.
is he always talking about his foreskin?
Jeff talked about that for like 20 minutes. You're just cutting like that's the whole episode.
I don't remember any of that.
Fucking, we're not having a 20-minute episode.
You're being a real face here, Andrew.
If one episode is suddenly 20 minutes long, you don't think people are going to think that's suspicious?
That's called facing ourselves. We deliberately sabotage all the good from our last episode just to make you look weird in this one.
Is there a small joke? What's the most effort you're willing to put into a small joke?
I put a lot of effort into a small joke.
The smaller, the more effort, honestly.
One time, I was playing a game with someone, and I said, I'll be right back. And I, grabbed a drink, and then something happened, and it ended up taking, 10 minutes. A part of me thought, and I really considered this for a few minutes, what if I just never talked to them again? What if I just completely vanished? That'd be really funny. And then, maybe 40 years later, be like, what's up? I'm back.
And you're just there with, slurping sounds like you've got your drink.
Yeah, exactly. I'm back, finally. Let's play. Let's do this.
God, that would cause potentially psychological damage to the other person.
They were genuinely my childhood best friend, who I hadn't spoken to in 11 years. That's a very weird conversation to know someone for so long, but also not know who they are anymore. I knew all the information of the person, but had no concept of who they were. It was a very.
But how did you? In what way had you forgotten about them? You forgot their name, or you were like,
no,
oh, it's that person's name.
No. They had a username, so I didn't know who their name was. I completely was aware of everything.
And how did you drift apart? Did you piss on his leg or something?
Yeah, it was a really unfortunate accident. He called me Krampus. I got a little aggressive.
All right, I think you're being a little serious. Obviously, Andrew's not going to pee on somebody's leg. What I assume is that you got caught watching his mom pee.
And then you didn't warn him that he was going to walk through it.
When I told the pee story, I really didn't. It's not worth the juice. Was not worth the impact of this. This is a thing that has stuck around. The story wasn't. Jeff, I don't call you the fucking grill master. You told an average barbecue story, and we let it go. We let it pass.
You got to introduce the next faces. P-boy and grill master.
The worst duo.
We should get Robert Rodriguez to make a kids movie about us. God damn. I had no idea when you divulged your piss obsession that it was going to turn into such material.
See what you've done here, Andrew. You've given him a nibble, and he's taken it, and he's reeled you in. Well, I guess you gave him a nibble. So what you got to do around Jeff is never let on. Like the fact that he knows that it's affecting you.
Yeah.
That will last. It won't last forever because his memory's shit, and he'll just drift away and forget it eventually. But that will last at least 6 episodes, I assume.
What other perversions are you into right now, Andrew?
Well, you said you had a product, and I said that I had a product.
Yes.
I wanted to share as well. Mine is actually a product. I don't think we could really sell the thing that you
sell the franchise rights to make movies and books and like dinnerware and
I'm not talking
t-shirts.
About Piss Boy and Grill Master. That's obviously a multi-film franchise. I wouldn't discredit that. It's your whole Krampus angle. I don't think it's hard to sell. We can't travel right now.
All I'm saying is I think people in Vancouver Island are terrified of you.
I don't know about that.
I think you're a supervillain and you don't know it.
I don't know about that. Hello and welcome to another episode. Another episode, not an episode of Fuckface. We recorded one. Texas got snow on it. Apparently it's mayhem. Nobody has power. Nothing works. The episode was unable to be edited. So I am here today to just let you know that the episode will come. It's not going to be out today, sadly. But I do have power since I do not live in Texas. So I figured I should record something so we at least have something here. And I thought a lot about, like, where do I want to go with this? Because I want to provide some content as well as an update. And I thought I have one fuckface story that I haven't shared. Nobody knows this. It's almost like it's easier to say it in this format because I don't know what it would be like to tell Jeff and Gavin this directly. That'd be really odd. But Andrew Panton isn't my real name. Andrew Panton is a made-up name. I was a Rooster Teeth fan. I was a huge fan when I was like 13, maybe, before I met anybody. And my old gamer tag used to be Ansac. And I built this really embarrassing map in Halo 3 in Forge. And it was just like everybody's names with gravity hammers and spawn points. I'm cringing thinking about it and talking about it in this moment. And it was just so embarrassing. And then just through happenstance, I met Jeff and people and Gavin. And so then I freaked out because this map, I couldn't figure out how to remove it from me, and it said it was created by my gamer tag. So I panicked, and I changed my gamer tag to Andrew Panton. Andrew is the name of one of my uncles, and Panton is the last name of somebody I went to school with, as in like grade 5. My real name is Raymond Somer. And I know this is a weird thing, but I didn't expect to become, involved in the community to the extent I was, or become friends with anyone. So I've been stuck as Andrew Panton for 13 years? Anyway, I don't really know what to say beyond that. But, you can find me at Raymond Somer on Twitter. I have a Twitter account. There was a time where I kind of stepped away from doing any Rooster Teeth stuff, and I made an account in around 2014. But then I came back. I never really used it, so I think I'll probably tweet. So if you check Raymond Somer on Twitter, there's probably going to be a tweet there now. Anyway, sorry the episode couldn't come out. Have a fantastic day, and I'm sure it'll be out relatively soon. I don't know. It just depends when power comes back. Texas snow. It's a nightmare. Thank you for listening, and enjoy whenever the episode comes out, hopefully soon. Goodbye.
So are we just not going to address the Andrew's name?
We can talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, there was
because Eric would be telling us to end it at this point.
Yeah,
the whole reason we recorded this early.
No, it was for
so
the
that we
porta
could-
potty. It had nothing to do with
it had
Oh,
nothing
okay.
to do with your name. So we got that.
But Andrew just, when our power was off, Andrew just made, because the person who edited episode 38 of Face didn't have time to upload it before the power went out, and just it was sat there on a computer that couldn't be turned on, I assume, and internet that didn't work. So Andrew made a small piece to go up in its place, letting people know that it'll be delayed.
I did. Once again, very courteous person, thinking about everybody else.
What did you say in that piece for the people that are listening now that may not have heard it?
Well, I may have revealed or claimed that Andrew Panton is an alias, and like stage name of sorts, and is not my real name. My real name, and the proposed audio, the Raymond Somer. I don't see why this is crazy.
I played that to Meg, and she was just like sat back, just like listening. When you said that, she like leapt forward on the couch and was like, "No, there's no way."
Yeah, it's a thing that happened.
And I was like, "There's no way."
Well, maybe, how do we want to do you want to ask questions about it? Because I feel like there's doubt by both of you. Independently, I got a lot of suspicion. Understandable. If it was a bit, I would say it wasn't a bit. So I get it.
Wait, are you telling us how you're going to lie about it?
No, I'm saying if I was doing a bit, if this was a bit,
Then you would lie and say it wasn't a bit.
I would claim it wasn't a bit. So I understand the suspicion.
Which makes it difficult for us to get to the bottom of whether you're actually named Raymond Somer or not.
Yeah. Because if it was a bit, I'd say it wasn't a bit.
But you already had that Twitter account?
Yeah. Well, I had... Okay, so do we want to get into the history of the
I don't know. Is this for next episode? We're like an hour and 10.
Are you maintaining that you were born Raymond Somer, not Andrew Panton?
I'm saying it's not impossible.
We're going to get nothing out of him, Jeff.
No,
thanks for tuning in for another episode of Face. I believe this was episode 40. Hope you had a good time. Next week, we'll intend to get to the bottom of this, but we did this week as well, and here we are. Eric, I'm glad you're here. Andrew and Gavin and I, we'd like to talk to you. This comes from a place of love, but I think we need to have a bit of an intervention in your inability to keep us on track, because
Attendance.
we have now blown two very important things that absolutely should have been talked about. And as the producer, I feel like it's on you to keep us on track.
Hang on. Jeff is saying me keeping you on track, and Gavin is saying attendance.
They go hand in
Both.
hand.
Yeah,
They're both. They're the same thing.
You can't keep us on track if there's no attendance.
Do you?
It's really...
Nobody listening to this knows how fucking hard it was to schedule any of the fucking shows for this week.
This one started in such a mess that I don't think it had an intro again. Did it have
No,
one?
it didn't.
Hello
No.
and welcome to Face, episode 41, I want to say. My name is Jeff Ramsey, and with me, as always, Gavin Free and International Man of Mystery, sir. I asked you what to call you last week. You never gave me a clear answer. I'll ask you again. Do we refer to you as Andrew? Do we refer to you as Raymond? And either way,
call me
why?
whatever you want to call me. I'm open to either. It's whatever you prefer. Are we going to get into this now, or are we going to wait
Yeah, let's
for
do it,
later?
because who knows? We might not get to it.
You
otherwise.
absolutely cannot wait to talk about
Are you
it.
sure?
No.
That
sure?
is some excellent producing by Eric's part. Good job, Eric.
Okay. Well, how do we want it? Do we just want the whole story of, like, I guess first of all, I should say that I'm going to tell this story. I'm going to explain what happened. I don't really care if people believe me or not. Also not really asking for people to investigate deeply into this. It's just I'm going to tell the story. You want to believe it, you can believe it. If you don't, that's fine. Do whatever you want to do with it. But my real name is Raymond Somer, and I've gone by that name between the ages of 1 to 10. And I didn't change until Andrew Panton, until a little after I met you guys, and it was a panic move because I did a
So wait,
stupid
you weren't
thing.
named until you were 1?
Well, whatever. I'm talking here,
So
Gavin.
birth
It's just
to 10 is what you're trying
birth
to
Okay.
to 10. Yeah, there wasn't a name change. I don't have a name, not a double, but yeah, that was my name.
That's like the idea if you got born a year old.
So let me ask you a question. Is it possible that at some point in time, the Vancouver police were looking for Raymond Somer, the Vancouver child kicker, and that's why you changed your name?
No, I mean, no comment to that. Maybe, possibly. I will now. You know what? Actually, I'm going to go on the record and say I've never kicked a child. I just like that to be known. It has never happened. I considered it. It got close once, but I've never kicked a kid.
So to that point, if you're a child or at some point, if you are listening to this podcast and at some point you were a child or you are indeed still a child and you've been kicked by Andrew Panton, we'd like to hear your story.
You're not going to hear anybody. Nobody, there's no, I've never kicked a kid. But, So for the name thing, I'm Raymond Somer, and then I got on Xbox when I was 11, and my gamer tag was Ansac something. It was, I think,
what does that mean?
It was Ansac 13.
No, I changed it every year because I was super cool. It started as Ansac 11. I don't know what it meant. It was a nickname I got as a kid when I was like 5 or 6 maybe, and it just stuck.
And so as a small 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid called Raymond, your nickname was Ansac.
Yep. No idea what it meant. One person gave it to me. It's what they called me, so it was sort of like my name thing. And then it sucked because like so I loved Halo so much. Like that was my thing growing up. And I was so excited to get Xbox Live, and my cousin also really liked it. And we're talking about how like you have to have a gamer tag online, and he wanted us to use our gamer tag name so we'd get comfortable saying it online. Except his was just Bob Slayer, and his name wasn't Bob. So I just called him Bob, and I had to be called Ansac, which was a really shitty exchange, ridiculous name. So I was Ansac for a long time, and my obsession was Halo, and I loved Bungie. My goal, this is sort of just a pivot to how I met you guys as well. So I watched Red vs. Blue, like season 3 maybe, a few episodes, and I enjoyed it because I loved Halo stuff. And then it just kind of was something I didn't think about. And then years pass. I love Halo 2. There is a bonus disc. I had the collector's edition, and there's a collector, like a B-roll on that disc, like a documentary of making the game. And my goal was to play with somebody from Bungie. So I wrote down the names on the B-roll. Most of them didn't work. I found one that worked. I sent a random friend request to somebody. It was just the shortest name of the most recently played to that person. They sent me an invite later. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. I join the game. They say, hey, I'd never accept like random friend requests. Who are you? I'm like 13 maybe at this time. 12. I completely panic. I lie and I just tell them, yeah, we played a game before and you seem cool. So I sent you a friend request. That was not at all. Like I just saw that there was a Bungie connected thing through the disc.
Smooth.
Yeah. That person turned out to be Nico, who like did all the music for Red vs. Blue.
No
season 1 through 5.
shit.
Yeah. So it was a complete accident. And then he mentioned something about his boss just signed on. And I asked like, oh, that's weird. As a kid, I thought it was strange to have your boss as a friend on Xbox. He's like, yeah, I do the music for Red vs. Blue. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Because I had a vague awareness of it, but I didn't really know anything about it. And that's what got me back into the community. Then I became good friends with Nico, and we played games a lot. Then I met Luke McKay through him, who used to do the comic. We became friends. And then Griffball came out. And it's around this time that, like, my fandom for Rooster Teeth stuff in general increased. And I made this super embarrassing, just fan map.
Just real quick before you go any further,
Yeah,
if you're listening to this and you're not sure what Griffball or that is, Red vs. Blue, obviously cartoon that we filmed in a video game called Halo. Within Halo, you could make your own game types, and we created one called Griffball. Gavin actually did. I did not. Gavin and Bernie did. That ended up becoming an official game type in Halo. And so that's what Andrew's referring to.
Yes. So it was sort of before that time, though. I was friends with Nico and Luke, and I made this map that was super embarrassing as Ansac. They met me as Ansac. When you made a map, it was connected to your profile. And as I started meeting more people in the community, I was so embarrassed by it. I was like, I can't figure out how to delete this. I'm just going to change my name so it's not listed as me as the creator of this thing that I'm embarrassed of. And that's where Andrew Panton came from. Panton was the last name of somebody I went to school with, and Andrew was just a name of a family member. So I flipped it to Andrew Panton at that point. Just kind of had a vague connection with people, but then Griffball came out, and I ended up being like one of the better Griffball players, and Luke McKay asked me to be in a tournament that you guys were running. And then because I was one of the better players, I ended up on Bernie's team, and then we started playing games a lot and became good friends. And then through that, I think it was at the time you're doing the 10,000 gamer score thing, Jeff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you and our buddies then, at that point.
No, I met you around that time because I think Bernie was trying to mess with you, and he was talking to me about different ways. I'm just assuming that's how that came up, and he was talking to me about it, and I think he talked to you about it, and so then you messaged me at around that time, so then we became friends through that. Anyway, I guess the point is that I didn't mean to meet any of you people. I was just trying to play with Bungie, and then I ended up here. It was a total accident. So then the Twitter account, so I became friends with all of you, Jeff and Gavin, and we would talk on AIM a lot. And then I went through this thing. I forgot my password. That's what happened. For like 6 or 7 months, I couldn't remember my password. And then I finally remembered it, and I signed on. And I always had this like anxiety thing of like, sometimes like you get feelings like, oh, your friends don't really like you, and you're more of like a burden to them, like they tolerate you.
I think Gavin feels that a lot.
So I didn't talk to any of you for like 6 months, and I signed on to AIM. I didn't have any messages, so I just interpreted that as like, oh, I guess I like burned bridges somehow, or in some like social way. So I just didn't talk to any of you for like 2 years. There's like a 2-year break from like 2013 to 2015. No communication. That's when I made the Raymond Silmayer Twitter account, because I thought about then using it, because I had no reason to continue to be Andrew Panton at that point. But I'm just not a social media guy. Like, my Andrew Panton account has maybe 500 tweets in like 10 plus years of existing. And almost all of them at this point are related to the show. So I made the account, didn't really use it. And then what happened was in 2015, playing Destiny, Jeff randomly joined my game when I was doing a daily. And I thought, oh, I guess Jeff doesn't hate me. That's all. That's all it essentially.
No, still never hated you. By the way, just for the audience, and we've talked about this before. I was under the impression we were very good friends this entire time. I just was busy with work, and I assumed Andrew was busy with what he was doing. At no point was I avoiding or ignoring you. I just never saw you online on AIM. You were just never around.
It's totally justified. It was just an in-my-head anxiety thing, but I didn't talk to anybody for like 2 years. I would have never talked to anyone again, because it's just like, I guess that's done. And then you join that game in Destiny, and I messaged you on AIM the next day, and we've talked regularly since then.
Can I just say whether that's true or not, and I certainly think elements of it are true, maybe even the majority of it is true. I think, in all seriousness, I think that that making the music for Red versus Blue is now the second coolest thing Nico has done for me.
Wow, that was quite the story.
What do you think about this, Gavin?
A load of shit, a load of old bollocks. What have you got this week, Jeff?
You know, that's it. You not like I could. What do you think is not true about that story?
I just think no. Like I just listened to it and I just no.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about this a little bit, Gav. You and I now, let's reach back into our minds. We were both, we've been good friends with Andrew for a long time. We've been good friends for much longer. I'm trying to search back backwards to try to think of the first times I remember Andrew. I definitely remember talking to Andrew about Left 4 Dead or soliciting his help during the 10,000 gamer score challenge. And I think there might even be a video to that effect. But I remember him, I think, from Griffball. Like, I don't know that I remember him before being, there was a time and he was the best Griffball player in the world, and he was on Bernie's team, and he was too nice to hate. I remember that.
Yeah, there was a brief period where I was the best on the entire planet at Griffball, but that's probably because like 16 people were playing it. And then Andrew came along and just rinsed the floor with all of us.
You were in Austin at that time. We were living together, right?
No, I think I was in England for Griffball still. I'd been there. I don't think I was living there.
Okay.
There's some coincidences here in the story that I would like to point out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Andrew was the name of a family member.
Not it's what we called them. It wasn't, I think, their birth name.
Coincidentally, you were nicknamed Ansac.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what does sack have to do with anything?
Did you come out of Andrew's ball sack? Is that like, it's like you're like from Andrew's sack?
No.
Okay.
No.
Is it possible that's a secret your family has held on to for years and years and years, and you're just now finding out your parents aren't your real parents?
Ansac was a nickname given to me by one guy that I was kind of friends with in school, and I've considered recently trying to reach out to them and figure out there's no way they'd remember.
So when changing your name, your gamer tag from Ansac to I have to make something else because of the embarrassment.
Yeah.
Not only am I going to use the first 2 letters of my current gamer tag, I'm not going to base it on that. I'm going to base it off someone else's name that just happens to be the same.
The amount of coincidences that happened for me to meet you guys, I feel like of all the things, that isn't an unbelievable coincidence.
Is that coincidence how everyone met, or is that just how life panned out? Is that a coincidence?
I mean, I didn't intend to meet any of you, and I did.
That's how people meet, though, isn't it? Oh, I can't wait to be 40 and meet Stephen Dilbridge. I don't know who that is yet.
And also, it sounds like you super intended to meet us because you wanted to play Halo with people who were involved with Halo.
Yeah, I'm specifically Bungie. Like the way that certain people would idolize a band as a kid, I idolized Bungie as a company.
Yeah, sure. They made it, technically, but we made it dumb.
Yeah, listen, I appreciated what you guys did, but it wasn't, I had no real involvement. I hadn't thought about Red vs. Blue at that point for a while. I think that's a weird, that's a strange thing for you to be like, that's the smoking gun to you. That Ansac has an AN in it.
Ansac's not a nickname.
I know, I don't know. I feel like it probably was like an insult in some way. I just don't know what it was.
I wish I could get to the real meaning of the name Ansac. Like, not the bullshit one that you've come up with, but like, where did it really come from?
Did you like Action Sack, the playlist?
Oh, that's interesting.
That existed before Action Sack did. Ansac.
Yeah, you're probably right there.
Yeah, he is.
I genuinely don't know where it came from or the meaning of it. I'd love to know.
So if a friend from high school saw you on the street, would they say, "Hey, Raymond," or would they say, "Hey, Andrew"?
Raymond. Anyone who I went to school with.
Would they call you Ray or Raymond?
They'd call me Ray.
Oh, it's Eric is asking how to spell Ansac. I believe it's Ansack. Yeah. Here's what I'm gonna need. I'm gonna need a high school yearbook photo for Raymond Sommer.
I don't have any of this.
I don't either, so I can't fault you for that.
I can see if I have elementary school photos. I can see if I have those. Would my name be in those?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll see if I can find this.
Can I get can I just get a piece of mail addressed to Raymond Sommer, like a bill?
I could send you that, yeah.
Did you ever win a sports trophy?
I don't think one. I played soccer. I grew up, but I don't think it was named. I never played like to the point. It was just like basic between the ages of like 5 to 8.
So what other nicknames did you have? Like what Ray-based nicknames?
That was it. I didn't have any other nicknames.
No one called you like Raymondo or like they just called you Ansac.
Yeah, well, not like almost nobody called me Ansac either. It was mainly just my name. It was just a nickname I had. If I needed an alias, yeah, well, that's why I pivoted because I thought it would be weird to use. As a kid, I didn't want to use my real name on an online thing.
You're walking down the street like you're headed to McDonald's.
How have we entertained this for so long?
Somebody says, "Hey, Ray," and you turn around. And then somebody says, "Hey, Andrew," and you turn around. I don't buy it. There's too many names.
It's 2 names.
You're not living 2 lives. I don't buy it.
No, it's so situational.
It all smells terrible. Okay, how about this? Raymond. I'm sorry, Ray. How about this, Ray?
You can call me whatever you want.
How about this, Ray? Why does that Raymond Sommer account follow one person, or have one person following him, and it's Mark Duplass?
Okay, so that was like he did.
Yeah, he's got one person following him. He's following his fucking famous movie director Mark Duplass.
Wait, how do you mean he has one person following him?
It was before.
Oh, okay.
Before it was public. He did a charity thing. I was a big fan of his work. He did like a charity thing, and I had that account, and I thought, well, I'm not really using it, and so I participated in the charity thing, and he followed the account. That's it. It's not a great story, but that's why that happened.
That makes sense. That's plausible. And I definitely believe that if Mark Duplass was involved, you'd do it because you're so fucking into the Duplass brothers.
At that time, I was.
I just don't fucking believe you.
That's okay.
Did you ever at any point believe this, Jeff?
No.
I would understand why you wouldn't believe it.
No. Did I believe him? No. Did I believe it was, and do I believe it's possible and that he is the kind of person that's capable of doing it? Yes. I also think that Andrew or Raymond or whoever is probably possessed of a regret now in this moment, realizing that this is absolutely something that he could have and would have done if he could turn the time, like get a time machine and go back and actually do this. I think he would. I think his only real regret here is that he didn't have this idea early enough to make it real.
What does Eric think about this?
I want it to be real so badly, but I do not think it is. I cannot believe that you did a whole episode where you were supposed to talk about this and you didn't. That's really how I feel about it.
That's the main worry.
You talked about it.
Maybe we should put these episodes out back to back, like have this one be an extra or something.
Oh, because the last one was delayed, so We'll put 2 out this time.
What if we flip the episodes?
Yeah, I don't like that idea.
He doesn't like that idea.
We couldn't put this one out first?
I can't believe you expect us to believe your name is Raymond Somer.
I expect you can believe whatever you want to. I mean, there's no reason for you to not believe it. I'm telling you what the story is. I've answered your questions.
Andrew, do you believe that we believe you?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
It's a ridiculous thing. But I guess if I had to equate it to something, imagine like that 4th of July party chair that I was just stuck in and that was my life and I didn't do anything about it until everyone was gone. It's that just extended over years. It's the same concept.
I do believe that's possible.
What's crazy about that chair story is that you've known us all so long at the point you were sat in that chair that I can't believe you didn't just say, I sat in this chair and it's like cracked in half.
Well, how do I pivot to that conversation? Like, what do I say? How do I bring that up?
How do you bring up anything ever? What do you mean?
Well, it's just sort of a strange thing to be like, yeah, the chair I'm sitting in right now, I think it's broken. Can't move.
I think I would. I don't think it's strange at all. I think I would mention it immediately.
I don't know. It just seemed like an odd thing to bring up. And I also wasn't really talking to anybody for that. Like, it was brief, like, hey, how's it going? Have a good time. Like, those were the type of talks I was having. It'd be weird. It wasn't extended dialogue. Hey, how's it going? Enjoy the party. This chair's broken. Can't leave. Bye. Like, what?
I spoke to you a bunch that day.
No, definitely not.
You're having a laugh.
No, I feel like 30 seconds in, 30 seconds out.
No, a load of bollocks. Because at one point you were in the living room. You were the only one in the living room. So I came over and I said hi to you there.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's on me. I just meant within the chair.
Oh, okay.
Within the chair, I talked to essentially nobody.
That was much later in the day, so I feel like most of our conversation was had maybe at that point.
It's possible, but it's the same idea. If I get stuck in a thing, I would just ride it out for as long as I could. I didn't plan on bringing up the Raymond Somer thing, but a fucking snowstorm happened.
You just had to, right?
Yeah, I was trying to. Well, I looked at it. I thought, okay, I have a time in which I have to do this. I'm the only one who can record for this. What is something I could bring up that's content that can be brief and is like something so people get maybe not a full episode, but they get something at least. And I thought, well, I guess this is a time in which I could do this.
So if I were to, if someone that you've known for a long time were to send you monogrammed towels for Christmas, what would the initials probably be?
Well, if I was sending them to you, it would be Andrew Pan. It would be AP because that is the name, the alias that I was going under. Everything that I'd send to you as a gift would be under the name that you know me as.
What if, like, so you're...
Are you saying somebody who isn't outside of...
Do you mean to tell me... Does your mother know... Are you... See, now, I don't want to approach this like it's fucking true. Are you insinuating... Are you trying to tell me that your mother knows that you go by the alias Andrew Pan and she's familiar with this?
Yes.
So the people in your life... that are people in your physical, personal Vancouver Island life who are different from your video game, career, podcasting life.
Yes.
To them, you are and always will be Raymond Somer, and they understand that the rest of the larger world thinks that you are someone named Andrew Pan.
So let me address something. In the very first episode of this show, we had a conversation and we joked about naming this podcast. I don't remember if it was Andrew Pan or if it was just Andrew.
I wanted to name it Andrew, yeah.
Okay. Well, I talked about that, and I told a story about how I told my mom that that's what we're going to call the show, and that I said I would have to change my name later as a joke, because that's what the thing was called.
I remember that.
And it made her cry. Yeah. That didn't happen that way. That was something that happened in reverse of that, where I told her once, should I just legally change my name to Andrew Pant? And she did not like that idea at all. She was not a fan. So I took that story and I incorporated it into the show thing just for content within the show.
Here's
these moments of thought that I'm left with after he stops talking. I'm just like,
it's so frustrating.
I'm 100% sure he's full of shit, but there's just that little glint of like,
I know, dude.
But what if though?
Oh, it's like a splinter in my thumb of it's aggravating and it's not a.
So when you came to visit Achievement Hunter, we worked with someone who was called Ray. Did he walk up to you and say, "Hey, what's up, Ray? Nice to meet you"? And you went, "Hey, I'm Andrew."
Or did you go, "Are you calling me Ray or are you Ray?"
I don't understand why this is fucking confusing to you guys.
Because if a guy called Ray meets another guy called Ray, then surely you have like a little Ray bonding moment.
Yeah.
Not when you're going under an alias of Andrew Panton. It's not what I'm known as in this group. It's like a stage name, essentially. So no, I would never acknowledge it.
I don't want to believe the fucking conversation.
Could you imagine if I did in that context? And then that's how would he be the only one that knew? That'd be weird.
Here's the frustrating thing, Gavin. I buy the mom's story, and I buy that he told it backwards. I can see that.
I think he's hunting for stuff that he can pivot.
I know. But that part, as someone who has legally changed their name in the past and had that conversation with his mom, I gotta admit that maybe I'm looking for a reason to believe it, but it felt authentic to me based on my previous experiences. But maybe it's just me putting my feelings on it. I don't want to. It's fucking annoying. I'm gonna have to think about this for the rest of my goddamn life.
I'm not going to think about it ever again after this. I think I have to,
Yeah,
I have to scrub it the moment. I have to get it out of my brain. This is garbage. I'm storing all this shite. What a load of bollocks, Andrew.
Okay, but let's just say I understand your position.
Okay,
but think about it in a different context. If this is true, how do you now feel about everything that your position on this?
That's a question, Gavin. I would love to know the answer to that too. Assuming it was true, like let's suspend disbelief for a second.
You might not need to.
Does this change anything for you? How do you feel about this person?
It would if it was true, it wouldn't change anything. Someone's name is like the least important thing about them.
Yeah, I didn't even mean that. I'm saying you're very aggressively like, this is bollocks, you're full of shit.
Well,
if it's true, how you feel about that? How you feel about these claims?
I'd be very wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
I'd stick by it. That what these extra words you're spewing aren't making me... You're trying to change my percentage of how much I believe you. I'm not.
I'm not trying to change anything. I'm just addressing the fact that your most compelling evidence against that you stated is that Andrew Panton and Ansac both share 2 letters.
But I don't... It's not on me to find evidence of your name not being... You're asking a lot of us.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that's the thing that you've said is the biggest hurdle for you. That was your smoking gun, and it's an absurd statement.
I've never seen his passport. I mean, he sounds just American to me.
I could send you a photo.
What if you don't live in Canada? That's a great point. Gavin, what if he lives in Austin? What if he's in, like, Round Rock? What if he's been, like, 4 miles away the whole time?
Every time we fly him to Austin, he has to fly to Canada first.
Yeah.
That's why the journeys are so long. He's like, I got to take a ferry and then fly off a different island. No, he's just on the way to Canada so he can fly from Canada back to Austin.
Now that makes sense.
This is such a different episode in comparison to the one that just came out.
I am gonna... you're totally right, and I'm so glad we didn't do these last 2 episodes back to back, because I would go from this as it is. We're gonna stop recording at 4:00. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm physically and emotionally drained from this. I can't imagine if we had done them back to back. I'd have to go straight to the hospital. You have to admit me into a facility for exhaustion.
It seems extreme.
Andrew, how would you feel if one of us revealed that we were actually called something else?
I wouldn't care.
Well, no, you wouldn't. I mean, we don't care either. But like, what would it mean to you if we'd known you this long and never told you our real name?
Okay, well, here's I think I'm a bad person to ask. I think I talked about it on the show before. There's a time a power line exploded outside of my house and fire was shooting out of it, and there are trees nearby. And I looked at it for a second. I thought, that's no good. I just went back to watching TV. I'd be completely unfazed by this reveal. It would mean nothing. It would just, I'd carry about my day. Like, oh, okay. That's all you'd get. I don't think we ever talk about this again either. I said my story.
No, we shouldn't. We spent the last episode not talking about this enough, and this episode talking about it for way too long.
Okay, here's what I propose. Do you remember the movie Beer Fest?
No. Well, I'm aware it exists, but I haven't.
Gavin, have you seen it? Do you remember it?
Did you show it to me?
Probably, yeah. I think we watched it in a hotel together with Bernie and Matt. In that movie, the guy that plays Farva, the bigger guy, he's also in Sky High. He's really funny. Anyway, he plays a character who dies, and then they replace him with his twin brother who looks exactly like him, and then he says, it'd be in my brother's honor. Why don't you guys just refer to me as his name for the whole movie? So basically, the character dies and they replace him with him again, and it's the same dude. Maybe we should kill Raymond Somare and replace him with Andrew Panton and just move on with our lives.
What? I zoned. I'm going to be honest. I zoned out and I came back into death.
God's sake.
Oh,
I like that you tell this 25-minute elaborate story of a load of bollocks about your naming the wrong thing, and then we try and tell you a 10-second story and you tune out.
Well, yeah, what happened was I started thinking about Super Troopers and if I like that movie. I don't think I do. People seem to really like Super Troopers. It's okay.
It's a great movie.
Brian Cox biting the soap, that's a great moment.
Getting hit in the head with the fucking maple syrup at this diner at the beginning is phenomenal.
And when he throws up, it's real.
Yeah.
Is Super Troopers good?
Yes. Super Troopers 2, I don't remember as well, but 1 is a classic.
Okay.
Man, I wrote down so much for this episode. There was no chance of ever getting it to it.
What do you got? I said, listen, before we go, let's do one thing.
We're an hour.
One thing. One quick thing.
One thing.
We can't. It's been such a downer listening to Andrew lie to us like this. We got to have something fun.
I didn't lie.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, if it was a bit, I'd pretend it wasn't a bit. It's not a bit.
You know when you're growing up and you go to school and it's like the first time you're mixing with other humans and you sort of learn the boundaries of other humans and how they work? I needed to have grown up with someone like Andrew because I'm 32 years old and I have no idea how to handle this.
Yeah.
I mean, funny enough, at one point in this show, Gavin, you said, I am the person that you've known the longest and know the least about. And that was a very funny moment for me.
Yeah, I've known you for so many years, yet most of my thoughts about you are my own imagination. Like, I just imagine what you're doing or like what your life is like, because I have no freaking idea.
Thanks for tuning in to Face episode 41, also known as episode 2 of season 2.
Episode 1 of season 2.
Last week, we treated you to an Ericless and Nicholas episode. We did our best to fill in with Adam. We talked a lot about Gavin getting hit in the head and being paranoid that people are throwing sticks at him. I believe we talked about some other things as well. Episode 2, you heard us conclude the Raymond Somare saga. I think it probably... it took about 6 months off my life that I won't get back now. I feel diminished. I feel a little bit like, you know how.
No, it's over. Nope, this is over.
Yeah,
goodbye.
no. I'm saying
Thank
goodbye.
you.
I'm just gonna end it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. You know how Palpatine turns wrinkly?
I've never seen Star Wars.
Well, I'm not talking to you then.
From the lightning.
Yeah, from the lightning, he turns like wrinkly and old. I feel like that kind of happened to me, my soul, a little bit.
Yeah, Andrew was Samuel L. Jackson with a purple lightsaber.
Yeah, and my Palpatine soul is wrinkled now.
I just hope that the rest of season 2 is nothing like this one. I don't even want to proof this one. I'll be honest. I don't want to have to listen to that again.
But Gavin didn't just send me a phone. Gavin sent me, maybe arguably greater than a phone. Gavin sent me a jar of Branston pickles.
I got my shipment stopped. They were like, we're not shipping this unless you provide us a commercial invoice. And I was like, wait, you want me to write up? And I'm sending him trash, basically. You want me to write up that I'm sending him some pickles in a jar? All right. So I had to put like $1 value to each itemized thing.
Also, just another part I missed about it. The name they used when they called about Gavin's, they called me Don Burton, the person on the phone. It's the most wrong anyone's ever gotten.
I was like, who's that?
With either name. It's just, it's so, Burton. I don't know how you get to Don Burton. But they did, which is fantastic. I really wish I didn't read the box. I got the pickle surprise.
I'm so surprised. Oh, you read the pickles?
I did.
Damn it. Yeah, I had to put. I didn't want to lie about what I was sending. I didn't want to commit some sort of weird international fraud crime.
Lose your green card.
Yeah, so I had to write pickles on it. I can't believe it made it to you though, because your address just looks like, like I don't know, a kid with crayons just like spilled a tub of crayons on some paper.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Face Podcast. This is episode 151. My name is Jeffrey Ramdo.
Ramdo? Jeffrey Ramdo?
Can I do another take?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do a bit,
you can do as many as you want.
Are you going to do a preview?
There's no limit.
No.
Oh, yeah, of course, that would be crazy.
Well, now I've completely botched it in all ways. My name is Jeffrey Paul Wright, and with me, as always, Raymond Somer in Canada and Pat Gavindale from the UK.
They are alter egos.
Raymond, Pat, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I used my birth name, the name I was born with, Jeffrey Paul Wright, just in case you didn't know that.
I used to try and have like an alter ego character when I was at school. It was called Errol.
Errol?
Like Errol Flynn?
He didn't have a last name.
What was the point of Errol? Like, what did he do? What was the character? What's the alter ego? What was your thing?
He was like me, but a bit cheeky.
Well, no, when you say...
I'd be like, that was Errol talking.
That doesn't seem... That doesn't... That feels really weird to make a whole alter ego for just a little bit cheeky. Like, I feel like there needs to be a wider change for
I
you
don't
to have
know.
an
All my
alter
friends
ego.
decided to do it. Like, I had a friend called Frank, and he was like, oh, that was a little bit of Herman there.
That would... It would be like if I said I have an alter ego named the Flux, and the difference was I wore hats as the Flux. That was how you could tell. Like, it doesn't really matter. It's a slight difference. You probably came across the same.
I was probably 13, though, so there's not a lot of logic behind it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Andrew, you pulled the name The Flux out of thin air so quickly, it sounds like a name that you have been thinking about for a while. Where did you just invent that off the top of your head?
I did top of my head. I went through like 3 other ones, and that one sounded the best. So I went the Flux. The Flux.
Errol Flynn versus The Flux.
We got superhero characters. We're set.
Oh my God, that's funny.
One is a bit cheeky, and the other wears hats.
And his name's The something. It's like a superhero. What's your power? I have hats.
I wear hats. I have a head that can fit a hat.
I
Great.
don't get sun in my eyes, so I can see better.
Reduce sunburns.
That was a weird start, wasn't it, that episode?
That's a great start. I can't believe that's maybe the biggest reveal.
I've made it a point to write down the first thing I think of when I wake up in the morning. Like my phone is next to me in my bed. And so the second I wake up and I realize I'm awake, I pick up my phone and then I write down the first thing that comes to my mind. Waking thoughts, yeah. Okay. My first thought I had this on Monday morning when I woke up. The first thing that came into my mind was, I wish my nickname was T-Bone. And if it was, I would get a tattoo of a T-bone. And then I thought, if I get the tattoo of a T-bone, can I backdoor into the nickname?
Well, you think so, Eric? Because Jeff has so many tattoos. I feel like it would be...
Jeff,
It
if
has
you
to
get a
be
T-bone
very
tattoo and
distinctive.
you want me to start calling you T-Bone, I'm in.
I think I do. I think I want to be called T-bone. I don't know why.
What about G-Bone?
That's exactit what I was going to say, Gavin.
It can morph into G-bone, which got me thinking. And this now I'm going to take a bit of we're going to take a bit of an aside for a second. Have you guys, if you guys could pick your own nickname, what would you pick?
Oh, man.
You don't have to answer right now. It could be it could be homework, but because I want you want to think, because this is how you're choosing to self-identify to people for the rest of your life. So, like, what would you determine your nickname to be? Just something to think about, maybe for
It's not going to be Raymond. Not that much. Cross that off the list.
Yeah, I don't think I'd go with Errol.
Yeah.
Like, people call you Gavino, and Millie spent her entire childhood calling you Gaver. But, like, if you got to pick, what would you call yourself?
I feel like it's so tough to come up with a nickname for yourself that comes, like, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Like the G-Bone, a T-Bone scenario. That's a very rare occurrence.
I feel like you guys were throwing out, like, Raymond and Errol and, like, regular names, but, like, you wouldn't go with something like Taskmaster? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you wouldn't go, like,
no.
way further?
I think, I don't know. That example specifically feels tough. I mean,
Yeah, so it should be along the lines of T-Bone.
Along the lines.
Yeah, or like whatever. Like, I knew a guy in high
Prime
school
rib.
everybody called prime rib. It doesn't have to be steak related, but like, although I realized I was about to say, I knew a guy in high school everybody called him Meat. And, that's a good nickname. Hey, what's up, Meat?
Why were all of your dudes just like one word? Like,
I don't know, dude.
like porch and meat.
Well, I wasn't friends with Porch. Porch scared the hell out of me.
Another thing in the past that we talked about that I feel like we should probably address. Kevin, do you have a nickname? That was homework. We're supposed to come up with nicknames, I believe.
Oh, nicknames like T-Bone that we wanted?
Yeah, like because Jeff had T-Bone, and I think he wanted us to come up with nicknames. For
Yeah,
ourselves.
just like if you want a nickname, now's the time to give yourself one.
I think I got one. I got a great one. I feel really good about mine.
Okay, go for it.
I was, this is, I didn't come up with a nickname. My partner gave me this nickname. I was in bed.
Nick said Backman.
Backman. 26-inch Backman. That'd be a great action figure. Or just like all back, hit the button, do stuff. Anyway, I was in bed. I was relaxing. And they walked into the room, and I had my icing on my head, as I do, just having a good relaxing time. Yeah. And they said, "Oh no, do you have a headache?" And then I explained, "No, this is just a thing I'm now doing for leisure. This is just comfortable." And they've started calling me Frosty because it's like frosting.
Ah,
so that's my new nickname. I'm Frosty now. It's a great nickname.
Frosty Panton.
Frosty Panton. I didn't even associate the last name with the first. But I feel really good about Frosty. It happened like the day after we had that recording, and I was like, holy shit, it's perfect. Frosty.
Gavin, how are you doing on your nickname search?
I couldn't really think of anything, and then something came into my head that I like, and it's Ram Scoop.
Okay.
So is it like one name, Ram Scoop, or is it like first Ram, last Scoop? Like what's the thought?
No, it'd just be one name, Ram Scoop.
Okay.
And it's because I remembered, I think I had Red Dwarf in my head. This is the ship from Red Dwarf, and that bit on the front is the Ram Scoop. And I just thought, that's a good name.
I like it.
Jeff, you don't think he's kind of like walking into your name territory with like...
Oh, because the RAM
Ramsey
thing?
Yeah.
Nah, it's fine.
Oh, shit. I didn't even think of that.
I'm okay with that.
Really? You didn't think of that? That's the first thing I thought of.
Oh, you know what, Jeff? If you want to take Ram Scoop, I'll give it up.
No, I'm happy with T-Bone. I got T-Bone, and I've only ever seen one episode of Red Dwarf, so it would be disingenuous of me.
Okay. I
think Ram Scoop. That's the thing. You name yourself whatever you want. This is carte blanche here. We don't have to wait to be gifted to us. Like, and you end up with some dumbass nickname like they called me Jeff Rowe in 6th grade.
That's great.
Yeah, I didn't like it then. That's why I'm T-Bone now.
Honestly, Ram Scoop has supporting character energy to it. Like, I could see T-Bone and Ram Scoop working together.
Yeah, I would always be after the and, I think. No one's ever starting with Ram Scoop, and I think that's a place I'm happy to be.
Like Frosty, T-Bone, and Ram Scoop.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, this would be like Frosty would like bring you into his gang, and he'd be like, "This is T-Bone, and this is Ram Scoop."
Yeah, and I feel like if it was like a TV series and those are the three main characters, you would have the first two names memorized by the end of episode like 1 and 2, but it'd take you to like episode 4 to remember Ram Scoop, I think.
I picture us as the supporting cast of Hot Rod.
I can see that.
Just like Danny
we got
McBride and
mullets.
everybody just sitting around. Bill Hader just talking about how we love to party.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'm surprised it wasn't introduced as T-Bone, Ram Scoop, and Frosty.
Oh,
That's
right.
a great point.
I've been making a point lately of listening to the previous episode before we record, and I just got behind, and I actually just listened to this week's episode, so I was an episode behind. So I forgot about Ram Scoop. What is it, T-Bone, Ram Scoop, and what?
You forgot Frosty?
Frosty?
Of all the names,
Frosty.
You dropped Frosty over Ram Scoop?
Well, no, because Ram Scoop is such a ridiculous name.
What do you mean?
It sticks.
No, yeah, that's fair. I deleted Ram
Hello
Scoop.
and welcome to another episode of the Face
What?
Podcast. My name is T-Bone, and with me, as always, Ram Scoop and Frosty.
Oh, thank
How's
you.
it going?
I have a good nickname that I woke up with. I don't know where this
Ooh.
came from. Kind of food related. But I was like, you know what? This person, this is a fucking cool name. I can get
For
behind
yourself?
this name. Not for me. I think it's a cooler name than what I would ever deserve. But it's just like it's a memorable name. Johnny Caviar. Woke up with Johnny Caviar. My first thing. I don't know where it came from. Johnny Caviar. This has been in my head ever since then.
That's great.
Andrew.
It's a great nickname.
Maybe Maybe Johnny Caviar could be like an Errol situation for you.
Oh.
You're feeling like a little cocky, a little luxe, a little fancy, a little Gucci. Maybe Johnny Caviar comes out.
We'd be like,
I'll order the
Johnny
wine.
Caviar.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah,
I'm going to
upscale
develop
dude.
Johnny Caviar a little bit. This is great.
I think that is definitely a direction you should look into going.
I'm going to explore this. Johnny Caviar. I had a nice moment with you recently, Jeff.
Was I a part of it? I was.
Yeah,
involved?
you were. Yeah, you're involved. You know what? I think it might tie me back with Gavin. I think this could be the thing that maybe bridges us back, because he said there's some confusion, there's some conflict. Gavin, as you know, there's been a bird in my roof that has been driving me crazy. I have not been able to sleep.
Yeah.
You sent me
It's
those
been so
files.
annoying.
I need to check in on that.
Yeah, so I sent Jeff the file, and he was kind enough to run it through because my phone, it just kept crashing. And when you run it through, it tells you like where other people have reported this bird. There's some Oxfordshire. I should have sent it to you. You may have recognized it.
I may have grown up with it.
You may have grown up with this bird. Here, I'll put the clip in now. You can listen to it. You can tell me if you grew up with this bird. Here we go. Bird chirp.
Oh.
You can listen to it.
I'm playing it. You are just a...
You got caviar, Gavin. Johnny
Is that
Caviar.
Johnny Caviar? He's
Johnny
the one?
Caviar came out.
He's the kind of guy that slips
Oh,
farts into
I-
birdchirp.mp3. You're an animal.
Caviar, you're real good.
I just
No,
got 2 barrels of caviar.
Now, Jeff, had you really not listened to that?
No, I hadn't
When I-
listened to it yet. I forgot.
Oh my God. So I thought I had been setting up this joke for over a month. I had, before you went to Italy, Jeff, I set it up where I was gassy, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to record a fart, and I'll just have it. And oh, that's great. That's great, Eric. He posted a meme of like the difference between me and Johnny Caviar.
Eric, can you
There's
draw a little
another-
puff of gas coming out of Johnny Caviar?
yeah, he's got a little poof out of his butthole.
I saw it here. I'll post. I was going to share this as well with Johnny Caviar. Somebody posted this in the Discord for the show, or for Face. I thought that was really fucking funny. Me as Winnie the Pooh, Johnny Caviar is Winnie the Pooh in a tuxedo. The problem with Johnny Caviar is it's just me without empathy. You guys inventing, like, pushing the Johnny Caviar thing was a mistake. But to go back to that gag that I've been trying to pay off, I recorded it, and I was texting you about this, Jeff, before you went on your trip a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I queued it all up, and then I went to send it to you, and the file vanished. And I had to like lie and be like, "Oh, I don't know. I'll get it. I'll have to try to find it." So then I got another fart, and I was like, "When will I deploy this thing? When do I want to do this?" And I just kept sitting on it. Then I brought it up on the show to like build to it a little bit more, and then I thought, "Okay, it's time to do this."
So, were you lying about the bird?
Yeah, no, there's no bird in my roof.
Oh,
I mean,
you
there are
animal.
There are birds in my roof, but they're not waking me up. It was just all an invention to try to get you to listen to my fart unknowingly.
You said the fart was from Oxfordshire?
It may have been.
We are entering into a new era of paranoia and mistrust.
Was that the first Johnny Caviar blindside?
It is. It's a Johnny Caviar move for sure. But anyway, I had been sitting on this. I set it up. I talked about it on the show. I was like, now I can deploy this anytime I want. And it was such a great face moment where I decided I am going to deploy this now. And so I set it up to Jeff, and I sent him the file, and I was feeling real good about myself. And then I looked at my phone, and I saw it was Game 3 of Celtics versus the Heat was happening. And they were down by 10 in the first quarter, and I felt so bad. I would never deploy a Johnny Caviar move against you in Game 3. I was like, he's gonna be so miserable. This is so bad. So I kept watching. I check in on the game regularly to be like, please, for the love of God, win this fucking game. I need you to win. And they blew it. It was their worst game of the series.
To that point.
To that point. Game 7 was not great, but they were absolutely dog shit in Game 3, and I felt so much guilt that I deployed the move, and you didn't acknowledge it at all. Zero acknowledgement.
Here's the deal. I've been trying to be less around my phone in general, so I've been like making a concerted effort to put it in another room and then leave that room so I just don't think about it. I'm trying to like break my fucking phone fumbling addiction and kind of just live more present in the world in front of me instead of on my phone. But also, I mean, I've just been such a shuttered wreck of a human because of the Celtics Heat series.
Yeah.
That I've just been so distracted. I have been forgetting stuff left and right. And I think I may have even seen it and then been like, well, I have bigger problems to worry about right now than identifying Andrew's bird, because I'm dealing with the Celtics imploding for no fucking reason against a geriatric, non-fucking drafted bullshit team cobbled together under a phenomenally, evilly, wickedly talented coach. And so it slipped out of the periphery of my memory, and I didn't remember it until this instance you brought it up.
I'm glad. I felt so bad that I
feel bad that I ignored you and didn't realize it. I'm sorry.
I'm glad you did.
Even though it was aimed at us, I really like Johnny Caviar. I really liked birdchirp.mp3. I think that was a fantastic intro to Johnny Caviar.
I went through a lot of variations on what to call it. It was a real. I was like, bird noise. Will that tip it off? No, it should be bird chirp. Should it be bird chirp or bird chirps? I'll just go bird chirp. There's thought. It's calculated.
I like Johnny Caviar. I'm count me as a fan. I like the idea of Andrew in a tuxedo at all times.
I don't think I've worn a tux since I was like 5. I've done something that I've never felt more psychotic in my life than going through this process. When we're recording this, we are a mere 2 days away from the big Cock Awards happening, the very exciting Cock Awards. And Jeff, I don't know if you know this. I didn't know this, but I'm fucked. However, you gave me a slight edge.
I did, because I forgot to nominate you. How did I give you an edge?
Well, that's what I'm. First of all, did you nominate people and not nominate me for a Cock Award?
No comment.
Jesus Christ,
that's awesome.
Who does the nominating? Who is Jeff?
The nominations are private. I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Do you still nominate?
I mean, I'm consulted. I have the opportunity to.
Who are you in charge of?
I'm not in charge of anybody. It's not about
That's
being in charge. You don't have to be in charge. You can nominate. You could nominate somebody if you thought they did a great job, Gav.
I thought that this was all managers that were nominating people.
So did
I assumed that it was all decided from upper level management. However, I got a terrifying email saying that you can nominate someone if you want, which made me realize that if this is a voting situation, I have zero chance at all. However, I did tilt the numbers somewhat because I both have my work email as well as johnny.caviar at roosterteeth.com. I got 2 sets of ballots that I could work with to boost.
So Johnny could nominate you.
So Johnny could nominate me. But then we
have to convince the whole company to nominate Johnny Caviar.
Well, it's too late.
It's a little late now.
It's already locked in. I had to panic submit these. So I submitted myself as both me and Johnny Caviar for every single award. There's a bunch of them. There's 12. I wrote these as Johnny Caviar. I realized, though, that I have several aliases on this show, and you can nominate up to 3 people. So as Johnny Caviar, I nominated Johnny Caviar, Raymond Somer, and Andrew Panton for every single award. And you have to write...
You're going to lose because of this now. You fucked over whoever's making these final selections, and they're going to go, he just kept nominating himself under different names.
You're going to split your own vote.
That's absolutely 100%.
Well, I viewed these all as votes for me, so it tells you what the award is, and then you have to write in a little reason why, and there's so many of them, I didn't go too in-depth on most of them. But
Fearless Spirit?
Yeah, that's one of the awards.
Johnny here's what he wrote. Nominating number 1, Andrew Panton. Your reason, he's an honorable man. Fearless Spirit, your second nominee, Johnny Caviar. Your reason, it's important to recognize yourself. Third nominee, Raymond Somare. Reason, a wonderful spirit.
Wonderful spirit, that Raymond Somare.
He's gonna lose. He's
Great
gonna
energy.
lose. He's
Here he
gonna
goes.
lose.
Next one. Unrivaled passion. Definitely me.
These categories.
Is
Passion personified. You
Yep.
can't top the enthusiasm of Caviar.
Raymond Somare, his enthusiasm for content inspired me as Johnny Caviar.
So you're Johnny Caviar in that.
So this is me submitting as Johnny Caviar, yes.
Okay.
Third category, we got inclusive community. Andrew Panton, he maintained the communal roots even after being hired. Johnny Caviar, he has become a known name in our community. Raymond Somare, found a unique way to engage and interact with our community. I think all these should count as a me vote, even though they're under different names.
Well, you should have made them all you votes.
Well, I did.
I mean, Jeff's right. Just nominate yourself 3 times.
Genuinely us.
If one
Andrew Panton, a truly original soul. Raymond Somare, you couldn't come up with them if you tried. Johnny Caviar, the most authentic person I have ever met, which is weird because it is supposed to be Johnny Caviar. That's like a third person inclusion.
It all sounds like a like a review on the back of a DVD.
It does. Well, there's so many different categories. Insatiable creativity. Andrew Panton, from show running face to Let's Play, he contributes constantly. Raymond Somare, some of his creative decision making have made ripples that struck the audience to the core. Johnny Caviar,
Yeah,
I keep wondering when he will peak, yet all he does is hit new heights. I felt like a total psychopath writing all of these, and I had to write so many of them. Where's the
God.
You got
Jesus.
7. Check yourself. The award. Andrew Panton, he's an honorable man who has never not followed through with a declaration. Raymond Somare holds himself accountable. Johnny Caviar, the best of who we are, truly salt of the earth.
Okay.
I'm just gonna post these 4 so I don't have to keep.
I wanted you to win until this. Now,
And then
now I don't.
okay, so now we got Rule Together. Andrew Panton, his collaborations even here are undeniable. I'm fucking 3 categories, everything. Johnny Caviar, I worked alongside Andrew every step of the way. Rule 3, or Rule Together number 3. Raymond Somare, when working with Raymond and Andrew, I felt unified in whatever we did. Because I'm the same, it's all the same person. That's why. Spark Creative Genius. Andrew Panton, working with him, I felt I was around a genius. Raymond Somare, one of the best creative minds I've ever seen. Johnny Caviar, no matter the project, he elevates it. Embrace change. Andrew Panton, his ability to change direction to support when needed is masterful. He operates with the intentionality and elegance of a sewing machine. Raymond Somare, you could argue that Raymond embraced more change than most, but never wavered from his core character. Johnny Caviar maintains the balance of what's right, and I believe lastly, generate joy. Andrew Panton, he's the best. Johnny Caviar, I love myself. Raymond Somare makes any rumor scenario a joy to be a part of. So I am as nominated as I can be for
They
these
are
cock
going
awards.
to look at these and go, "Who wrote this?" Andrew Panton. Oh, okay. Okay, great, cool.
So, Eric, did you nominate people for categories such as check yourself?
I did.
Huh.
Did you, Gavin?
No.
Gavin wasn't aware that we could nominate.
No, I also wasn't until I got this email. I'm shocked. Nick, did you nominate people?
No.
Nick didn't nominate. Jeff, did you nominated?
Of course.
Were there any nominations from Jeff or Eric for me, Johnny Caviar, or Raymond Somare?
I can't
No, it looks like you got
say
these
that.
covered, man. Like, it really looks like you got yourself covered here, so it should be fine.
Yeah, you got it.
The deepest of
It
betrayals.
doesn't look like you need us at all.
The
It looks like
deepest
you're
of betrayals.
a very stable man who definitely has this all worked
it's,
out.
yeah. No, it's unhinged.
The people who vote on the Academy Awards don't hang out on a podcast before the Academy Awards and talk about who they voted for. I can't do that.
I think that's exactly what they do.
Their categories are slightly more specific, like Best Director, not Unwavering Spirit or whatever.
No, these are ruled together. Classic.
I wouldn't know if I won the Rule Together award that I was telling my family. I don't know what they would think about that.
Well, I don't think you're going to win any of these, so I wouldn't worry about it. It's not a conversation you're going to have.
Yeah, I didn't nominate you. I'm sorry, Gavin.
Man, you don't think I help Rule Together?
I think you generate joy.
I think you spark creative genius. I think you rule together. I think you generate joy. You definitely embrace change. You exemplify all of it. But you're also.
I don't know what's a bigger betrayal: you two not nominating me, or Nick just not nominating anybody. Even knowing
Nick doesn't give a fuck.
What?
I didn't say I didn't nominate you. I said I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
You didn't. I don't know why you agreed, Nick. You already said you didn't nominate.
No, I said no. Wink.
He winked. You didn't hear him wink?
You have a camera on?
Yeah, did you hear me winking? Hey, you hear that?
And make picking the monkey mask a lot easier if you did. If you consider that. Yes, I do hear that, Nick.
Okay.
Well, I had no chance. The cock died as soon as I saw it was a vote system, so it's over. But I at least I wanted to
starting the year with a
submit.
dead cock.
It's a good. Maybe in 2024 it could be reborn.
Like a phoenix cock.
Oh!
Yes.
Also, Andrew, we don't know. We won't know for a couple days if you won or not.
But we know I didn't win. It's the cock dream is dead. It's died on the table.
Well,
it died on the ballot.
If you're gonna think like that, then you don't have a shot. You got to put
With
positivity out into the universe.
If we viewed this as like an election, my cock award dreams are like the third party candidate. My ballots are the 1%, if that, of the submission. I'm out.
No, it's
I'm dead.
this would be like if it was ranked choice voting, and you voted for everybody on the ballot equally somehow. Like you really split your vote. But it may pan out. You never know. It'd be funny if Johnny Caviar won an award.
It would be hilarious if Johnny Caviar won, and I did.
Did you do any internal campaigning?
I tweeted at Rooster Teeth I'd be willing to bribe them to win the award, but they never got back to me.
Hey, yeah, so the answer to your question is no.
No.
Well, okay, to be fair, the way my Slack account is designed, I can only interact with people that I'm in Slacks with. So I literally can't message people beyond you guys.
Why didn't you start like a leaflet or like a pamphlet campaign?
I did consider making my own award and sending it to all of management, but the budget and other considerations, I couldn't fit it in.
Something to think about for 2024.
Yeah, maybe 2024, just really up the bribery side.
Yeah, maybe create a little flyer or something you can hand out around November or so to all the employees. Be like, hey, don't forget about Andrew. Kind of like when you're running for school president. Maybe put a poster with some glitter up and a picture of you and put it up in the hallway. That kind of thing.
Okay, I'll take notes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we each off-screen came up with one nickname for each of the other people in regulation. We are then going to snake draft it to list everybody's nicknames. Then we will all end up with 4 potential nicknames. What we'll do at that point is spin a wheel and let Chance describe what our nickname for the year 2025 is going to be.
Now it's time for Andrew nicknames, and we start with Nick.
Oh, boy.
Well, I was thinking, what do we know about Andrew? We know he's a Winnie the Pooh guy. He doesn't like to wear pants. But his name is Andrew.
That's also true.
So I kind of combine them into a fun little deal where he's going to be Andy Pants.
Hate it.
Dude,
Absolutely hate it.
Honestly, I love Andy Pants. I think that
it's
is
a good nickname.
Rolls
I
off the
hate
tongue.
it.
Dude, it's like a Joey Pants situation, dude.
Yeah.
I don't like pants. I don't like the name Andy. It's a double threat of things I do not enjoy.
Nick, you just took a nickname away from me, and I'm not even mad at it.
Oh, no way!
No, I didn't come up with Andy Pants, but I came up with something similar.
Wow.
I was thinking the same thing. Winnie the Pooh, Pooh Bear, Andrew. I came up with Drew Bear.
Wow.
I like that a
Andy Pants
lot.
is so much stronger than Drew Bear.
Yeah. Well, Jeff's going to change his, but before we get to Jeff's, we got to get through mine. When I think of Andrew, there's only one thing that I think of, and that's Gizmo.
I like Gizmo. I'll take Gizmo. I don't mind that.
See? I think
doing
Andrew could be.
Gremlins?
I think he could be a Gizmo. I think dude. Oh, where's Gizmo? Oh, Gizmo's taking us through a crazy video. Oh,
he's
Gizmo's making
up
us
to
play
some
Safe
mischief.
Party.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's
It's
doing
Gizmo.
something. Never know what Gizmo's up to.
Oh, that right there? That's Gizmo. That's oh yeah. I'm feeling good about Gizmo as a nickname for Andrew.
It's like, oh no, Andrew's in Gizmo again.
See? This really works. I think Gavin's befuddled by my two nicknames so far.
Opus and Gizmo. It's like a box of jank puppets.
Keep that in mind as we get deeper. Jeff, what is your? We already know that you had an Andrew nickname that you're wiping off the board, but what's the one you're going to go with?
It's okay. I'm going to go with my backup, which I like as well. One thing I think we all know about Andrew is that he is wholesome and wonderful and sweet and kind and gentle.
Oh, no.
And he's like, Andrew to me is like a big warm hug, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's great that we know that about him, but I also think that there's a darker side to Andrew.
Oh no, he's coming.
He's got Raymond Sommer in the background. Where he's becomes a different person. He may or may not be affiliated with the Vancouver Child Kicker. We know he likes to watch women pee on at McDonald's. Like there are these little dark elements that you see, but none of them can be truly tied to him. But what do we know about Andrew that we can tie to him? I want to toughen him up a little bit because we know how wholesome he is, but I want the world to feel a little bit of his edge. So I looked at like the last year, and here's what I came up with. Andrew Panton, the Herman Miller Killer.
Oh, I like that.
Whoa. What?
They said it couldn't be done, but he did it.
The Herman Miller Killer?
Yeah, or Herman Miller Killer,
like
whatever.
it.
The Herman Miller Killer, yeah.
Okay.
So you might just be shortened to Herman sometimes?
Yeah, or Killer.
What?
Or Miller. Or Miller.
there's a lot at play.
As long as it's not her killer, I'm okay with it.
Okay. All right. Well, Andrew's nickname for 2025 could be the Herman Miller Killer.
Gizmo or the Herman Miller Killer.
It could be this next one that Gavin's going to lay down for us.
Well, as we all know, Andrew needs to eat the goddamn pencil, right?
Guess we're still doing that, all right? Okay.
Inside the pencil is what people used to think was lead. It was actually graphite, but people call it the lead. Still do. On the periodic table, lead is represented by the letters PB. Why is that? I looked it up. It's Latin for plum bum.
Yeah!
I give you plum bum.
Well, how you feeling about Andy Pants now?
I still have that rank at the bottom. I'll take Plum Bum over Andy Pants.
Wow!
That's how much I dislike Andy Pants.
Now, I gotta say, of these names, you gotta be praying for Gizmo.
Yeah, I think Gizmo's the best. I don't mind Herman Miller Killer or Gizmo, that's for sure. But I definitely, after Andy Pants, it was the first time it occurred to me I might not like any of the names on the wheel, and that is scary.
Now, if it helps, that's all I've been thinking about is I'm not going to like any of the names on the wheel. Andrew, we move on to you. As you have been dubbed Andy Pants.
Anything but that.
Gizmo.
I'm okay
the
with
Herman
that.
Miller Killer.
Don't mind it.
Plum Bum.
Don't love that one as much, but
And here we go.
I'm really only
1,
cheering against Andy
2,
Pants.
3, 4, 5, 6. And the
Andy
spins begins.
No pants. No pants.
You're going to put them on
No
all
pants.
Here we go.
Pants, big pants.
Come on. Gizmo. 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 Gizmo.
It was
Andrew,
meant to
for
be.
2025 will be Gizmo.
I think I
Congratulations,
had the best of both
Gizmo.
worlds. Of that one, there are two I really liked, and
Way to go, Gizmo.